I want to welcome you to the Pro Mindset Podcast. The Pro Mindset Podcast is all about diving into the headspace that results in championship performance. High-performing athletes, winners, have this mental flow and have a positive headspace for their performances and success. Join me, Craig Domann, sports attorney and NFL agent, on this podcast. I will interview pro athletes, college athletes, football coaches, and sports personalities. Together, we can discover how you can get in the flow and have your own pro mindset.
Okay, you ready to get started?
I'm ready when you are, man. I got.
Okay, baby, let's get going.
I got 50 minutes to give some goodness.
You got flights.
Over here doing it, man.
Suitcases to pack.
Yeah,
Dude,
we got the suitcases packed. I still got to get a workout in, and I got to have a meet with my team. I got a whole bunch of weirdness. We're going to be good, though, man. This is my typical speed of life is stupid fast, but it works.
Okay, so today on Pro Mindset, I have Anthony Trucks, and Anthony's been a guest a couple times, and Anthony is a former client, former NFL player, and life coach and career coach out in the Bay Area. Anthony, tell us what's going on with you.
I'm hanging out enjoying life, man. I guess the way I look at my life is we are all kind of in the midst of crazy, but I do a really good job of finding joy within it. So what's going on with me is my family is intact. Everybody's happy. We're all healthy. My kids are still active. I'm still active. I lost 30 pounds in the last 60 days because I decided not to be a chubby bunny. And business is good. I get to travel and speak. I actually have a presentation that's going to go live to T-Mobile's entire internal team. It's like 20,000 people, like in about a week and a half. Like just cool things, man. So life is good. Health is good. Family is good. God is good. Man, I'm just enjoying life. So,
Anthony, what the heck do you have to say that T-Mobile would want 20,000 employees to hear?
Oh, I don't know. I think 20,000. I was told it could be up to 80,000. You know, I got a good team, man, that they do a good job of getting me in the right places. They did this thing called Growth Day internally. Is it Growth Day? No, it's Day of Learning, called Day of Learning. And so they find speakers and they bring them in. And I was brought in to be the resiliency, kind of like how to, bounce back kind of guy. And obviously that's my life story. It's part of it. And yeah, I went in and it was interesting. They tried to have me come in for the first one they did last year. And they're like, I don't know where he fits or I don't know if the message is landing kind of thing. And then we kind of circled back again this time. And like we got through it, almost didn't get picked up again, which was odd. But then they brought me on. They're like, I don't know. Anyways, all that I say, I go mid-February, I went out to Overland Park, Kansas to the Sprint campus, which is the T-Mobile campus, I guess now. And their big studio, and did my thing, man. And the lady comes in and she goes, I'm just going to tell you right now, that will be the highest rated speech we have ever had. I was like, yeah, you better be. But it was cool, man. So
yeah, that's my old stomping grounds. I know exactly where the campus is. Yeah.
So that's cool.
Grew up around
there. I didn't know.
So.
That's small world. But yeah, so it was good, man. They enjoyed it. And then I'll be back on live. Actually, next week I'll be on live doing kind of like a poll with them and all that kind of stuff. But it was cool to see my team kind of all get celebrated and be happy because even then they're like, we didn't know 100% what to expect, but they're like, you knocked out of the park. In fact, the head lady, who typically is the one that, gives feedback, they gave a warning like, hey, the guy that came today is a pretty seasoned speaker. So the day before me, this guy's a seasoned speaker. They had to give him a bunch of feedback. He kind of got a little bit frustrated. So just let Anthony know, kind of roll with the punches. So we're going to give some feedback and maybe have to refilm some stuff. I was like, okay, no big deal. So we do the whole thing, and then she comes in. The team goes, okay, what should we redo? And the lady was like wiping tears. She goes, nothing. They look at me. They go, that's never happened. Like she doesn't not give feedback. It's abnormal.
So Anthony, without spoiling the nucleus of your speech and your message, let's cut right to the chase. Yeah. What did you say that was so impactful that you brought somebody to tears?
I think it's a matter of ebb and flow. There's two parts to it. One part is I understand which parts of my story that people need to hear to connect. Because you don't bring someone to tears unless they connect. Think about movies, right? When I watch a movie, something could happen, but it only really gets you to a point of tears when you connect it to the character or connect it to the storyline or something that's great. That connection point is a big piece. And the world of what I do in all aspects, as you know, It's connection, man. It's human connection, and you don't really get to a point of depth of human connection until you let people into your depth. So one of the things that I'm real big on is I just share it all. Like anything that's gone on or could be going on, I let it all pour out of my heart as best I can without apprehension or fear of the ego getting triggered. I just let it go. And in doing so, people get to feel my humanity, so they connect to me. The second part is, and this is just practice, I think, it's understanding how to kind of do the dance of sharing. Like storytelling it's a skill you have to figure out. And I think for over years, I've just learned how to do it by understanding, like, would I enjoy listening to me right now? You know, like that's a big piece of it. So not only do I have the story, but I know how to share it. And the nucleus of the speech is all about how do you make shift happen. And my story is going from a point where statistically I shouldn't be doing much to where now I do some cool things. And I bring people along to the journey. So they get to live through this kind of experience, highs and lows with me. They've connected to me, and they're hearing it in an engaging way. And so I think what moved her, which is kind of, I don't want to say the goal, but the goal is to have her feel it, you know? It's just a matter of me just saying, here's who I am, here's the parts of the story, and then getting them to connect to it.
I 1,000% agree. And if you belong to a men's group and if you're not transparent and you're not willing to be vulnerable and real, and basically show people that, hey, you're struggling in your marriage. You're struggling as a parent. You're struggling with your body image. You know, 90% of the dudes are overweight. You know, if they weren't struggling with it, they wouldn't have that problem.
Yeah.
So I really think it's the concept of being real in a way that everybody's real, but very few people are willing to expose.
Yeah, very much so.
Right? Let's talk about identity. That's one of my big things. And I really, truly believe that your identity is almost like a bubble that you live in. And when you walk in a room, you bump people with your bubble. You bump into them. They feel it. They can smell it. They can see it before you open your mouth. Yeah. And as an athlete, when you're warming up, when you're walking on the field, you're demonstrating your identity. What is your perspective on identity in your world?
Yeah, in my world, I mean, it's actually, it's kind of what you said, and it's also another part of it. I guess there's a passive and an active part of it, right? You're talking about, I would call it the active part. You know, when I step in, it's like people sense me, they feel me, it's who I am, right? There's also a passive part, which I think it informs the active that we all see. If you look at it from a standpoint of like actual like brain chemistry, neuroscience, there's a part of our brain that's like, it's called the default mode network. It's where our identity kind of exists, is what science has kind of showed us. And what's interesting is if I were to ask you, hey, who are you right now? You say, well, I'm Craig, and I'm a father, and I'm a husband, and I'm a business owner, I'm a leader, I'm a podcaster. You'd give me a bunch of stuff, but that part of your brain would actually shut down. But if we kept little nodes on you and just kind of kept studying your brain, and you just kind of sat there and looked off into the distance in that big Colorado sky, and you saw something, or like you saw a dog or somebody do something, your brain would you'd start triggering things. It could be judgments, it could be perspectives, it could be thoughts. The default mode network lights up. Who you are is in those moments. It's the reactions where you're unconsciously acting, right? Somebody cuts you off, what's your response? You see somebody doing something, how do you feel?
I try to run them off the road.
Yeah, right? Most
people be that way.
A lot of people do, to be quite honest. So the idea is like your identity is that part of you that it's just not always there, but it's there. And so I tell people your identity is who you are when you aren't thinking about who you are. It's just your flow. It's your rhythm of life. And so when I look at like identity in my world, it's pretty much what is your rhythm? What's your song? What's your tune? What's your tempo? What are the instruments that comprise it, right? That's your identity. And when you figure out your song, your beats per minute, your instruments, man, you make good music. If not, you want to skip the song and people want to turn the song off because you're just annoying or out of whack and you can't find a groove. But you know as well as I do, some people you get around like yourself, you got a good groove, you know, like, man, I want to be around. I want to listen to Craig's song. His rhythm of life it's enjoyable. If I get a chance to hang out with him, I want to be around him. And it's the same when you got people with an opposite that aren't. I get a good flow, and that's kind of how I look at identity.
When people have an emotional identity, meaning it evokes emotions, happiness, sadness, sorrow, whatever, regret, And when you're singing your song and you're living your life, are you exuding positivism, happiness, joy, or the other? And people feel it. It comes off in how we act, how we respond, and especially when we're caught off guard. It's when there's no premeditation. And so anybody can go into a board meeting and exhibit confidence and have a positive identity until somebody says, hey, I don't like your idea.
Yeah, right. Then you got to be triggered. It does. I call them like in the moments we have, like you get triggered, like there's like identity walls, but there's also those moments where you imagine like this, like a M&M, like a peanut M&M, right? There's the outside chocolate layer, there's the inside peanut. The peanut is your identity. The outside layer is your ego, which shows up in your actions, and it will protect the peanut, right? It's like, so what you're talking about is the moment when somebody challenges your identity, your ego pops in emotionally and says, wait a second. How dare you say I'm not a good dad? How dare you say I'm not a good agent? How dare you say I'm not X, Y, or Z? And you're actually, your ego shows up in those emotional moments in the actions to protect that internal identity.
No question. I like the M&M, but not all M&Ms have peanuts. So sometimes I like the plain M&Ms just with no peanuts.
This is true. I wish we could work that way, but I don't think every human has an identity. So if you get to a moment where you find a person that's completely devoid of identity, that would be interesting to see.
Well, I think the only way you see a person like that is they're not breathing anymore.
Yeah, true.
Right.
True, man.
So even I really feel like you could be in a hospital bed on ventilation and be in a coma, and you still are permeating your identity. An identity of I'm a survivor, I'm a fighter, I'm going to win this battle, or I've given up. I've quit,
100%.
and I'm just waiting for the end. And that's at a subconscious level, unconscious level.
Yeah, it's just part of you. That's exactly what you're talking about. It's just who you are. When it's who you are, it's just this natural kind of flow. And the thing is good is it doesn't have to be who you are forever. Like there's ways you can adjust. I call them identity shifts. You can shift to a different level or different identity, but you're right, man. It's like whenever it becomes this level of an adoption of this is me, right? This is who I am. You'll protect that come hell or high water. That just is what it is because it's who you are, and it can show up in a plethora of different ways. But yeah, it's also not something that's, random. Like it was randomly created by all of us, when we were kids, and certain things in our belief systems we have and what our family told us and where we grew up culturally, right? This is all part of what was programmed into us. But, if the fact that I can grow up in China and speak Chinese because I was there, but I could be raised in America and speak American, right? That just means I was just born somewhere. Like it's just a matter of what was put into me based on where I was at. But the reality is you can change it all. You can adopt different ideas, different beliefs. You can adjust it, but you are right. Like it's a core part that shows up all the time.
Okay, Anthony. So how do you change it? Let's say, for example, you're listening to this podcast and you don't like your identity. You don't like your history. You don't like your present, and you want to change your future. What are some of the tools and methods that people can utilize to make that change?
Yeah. Well, first off, I wouldn't call it change. Like, I don't think you should change your identity. I think it's a heavy word. It just is. I mean, to be honest, you talk about change yourself. It's like, it's a thick one. But if you think about shifting, right, I can make a shift of an airplane traveling from here to Florida by 1 degree and end up 40 miles in a different area because of a singular one shift. So we're all on a destination that's kind of like that. It's a long one. You need a little shift to change your destination. And the first thing I do is I tell people you got to see. And I have what's called the shift method. When I coach clients and organizations through it, this is the exact thing we do. There's a lot more depth, but the overarching, 50,000-foot view is going to be see, shift, sustain. The shift part's the work, right? That's where I do the actual work to shift my life. The problem is most people are very adamant to want to jump to the work right now. Tell me what to do. What do I got to lift? What do I got to eat? How do I got to do this? What should I say? Like all this stuff. And they start adopting these habits and ideas from people that they see in some capacity and go, I want to be like that. I'm going to grab that. And what ends up happening is they get to midlife crisis. They look at themselves, go, man, I made a bunch of money. I got this house. I got the car, but I don't like me. I don't know who I am, right? It's because essentially you climbed a ladder and realized it was leaned against the wrong building. You just did the work in the direction that you didn't even care to even know where you were headed. So when I go to the first part of it, the C phase, I want people to see, I guess, essentially three different things. The first part is you got to see what in the world's keeping you stuck, your blind spots that we all have. A lot of people don't like to look into them, but that's where your success will be laid, because the biggest room in the world is the room for improvement. We all have a space, but you got to see your blind spots, because once you see what's holding you back that you may not want to see, but your wife, your friends, your buddies, your colleagues have been telling you about, and you go, okay, now I see it. Well, now you get a little opportunity to go, okay, wow, well, now that this isn't holding me back, maybe something else is possible. It's like the thought of, well, man, I didn't realize my poor communication skills were stopping me from making sales. Wow, okay, maybe I can set a goal now for something higher, because now I know that and I can work on it. It's like my dog, I go to the park, they got a leash on, right? I take my dog's leash off, its head pops up, it bolts off into the distance, you know? So once you see what's holding you back, now you can dream bigger, which is a big piece, right? I can dream bigger than I thought. It creates a different sense of hope, aspiration. The third part of seeing allows you to see who you can become. And that's where you should start the process before you go to do a shift, because what you want isn't a product of what you do, it's who you are. We all have great information, all of it, right? We all know what to do. There's so many books. There's a podcast like this. There's a bunch of courses. There's seminars. There's training. And people nowadays are over inundated. In fact, they do themselves a disservice by investing in more programs to shortcut the process, because all you're doing is giving yourself more stuff you're not going to do and just feel bad again. So what I found is, for a lot of people, it's like, it's clearly cluttered. Who do you want to be? Because once we figure out who we want to be, we can figure out what that person has. Where they might have the joy, they might have the happy, they might have the car and the house, right? But it's a byproduct of who they are. And so when you get to that point of clarifying who I'm going to become and what they're going to have, now we move on. Because if you were already that person, Greg, you'd already have those things. It'd just be part of your life. So once you have that, you go to shift. Now I could actually do the work to become that person. This is where we go to the base of it. Really, it's more than habits, but essentially the simple way to think about it, it's like, it's the habits, right? You can't change any part of your life if you don't change things you do every day. And it may not be overhauling, and it can't be short-lived. It's got to be something that endures. It becomes part of who you are. And when you do that, you make these shifts, small ones, right, to how I see things, what I do, some daily habits, ways I, engage with people, actions I take, whatever they may be. Over time, I become someone different because I achieved something special. I transform a little bit, and now I'm like this great human being that I actually planned to become for the first time ever. The last part's sustain, which is, how can I sustain a trajectory? How do I give myself the right community of people around me, the right environment, and the right kind of anchoring to make sure I'm always going forwards and never sliding back downhill? And that's how people can go through the process. See, shift, sustain.
Which one's the most difficult? Obviously, if you can't see it, you can't shift. But
Yep.
Where do people fail the most? Where are people the most stubborn? And is it in the C phase?
Well, here's the thing. I think it would be. It's a moment in the shift phase. I'll be totally honest. The C phase is actually the one people are most afraid of, but it's not the hardest. People are afraid of the C phase because I got to look into myself and see things, and we get troubled with having to own up to certain things, and most people won't do it, right? It's scary, but not hard. Here's what's hard, though, the shift phase. The shift phase is one where it's met with immediate and frequent pain. And the problem is we all know there's certain things we should do, but here's what takes place. We try something new. We try to make an adjustment. We do this adjustment, right? We go and take an action, and what happens is we immediately are met with the fact that we suck at this thing. I'm not very good. I operated poorly. I made a mistake, and we are met with the response of a negative feeling or some detriment that just sucks to experience. And what we don't want to do is we do not want to subject ourselves to the same pain again. So like if I was a guy that I give speeches, if I got on a stage and I bomb on stage, the last place that I want to be is back on stage. Like I don't want to do that. I get the immediate like, oh, this hurts, it's a 10 of pain. And if I felt this 10 of pain, well, what I do is I walk away. Most people, they walk away. I don't want to go do that again. So I kind of go and do something else, or I make an excuse. And here's the problem, Craig. In that moment, I have this amazing, fresh lesson. I know what went wrong. Someone gave me feedback. I know but I am so fearful of applying this lesson and trying again because it's going to hurt that I walk away. And then I try to get a month from now, 2 months from now, but I forgot the lesson. I don't remember what happened, right? So I got to start again. And what happens is the people who fail consistently are the ones that never go back into the ring. Here's why successful people win and why it's really hard. In that moment, if I get off the stage and I did horribly, the smart, eventual successful speaker, what they'll do is go, okay, what was wrong? Okay, man, I did this, I sucked. Okay, I'm back on stage tomorrow because I know the lesson. I'm going to apply it right now. And I'm going to go back and I'm going to do it again. I know it's going to suck, but I'm going to go do it. And I go do it. And I go out there and I come back. It's a 9.5 of pain. It's still painful, but a little bit less. And people look at you and go, why do you keep subjecting yourself to that? You suck at that. Why are you trying to sing? Why are you trying to be a speaker? Why do you want to start a podcast? Your episodes suck. And you're like, I got to keep figuring it out. So I keep doing it, right? So I go back again and I go up again and I learn this lesson from 9.5. Now I'm a 9, right? And I do it again. And people think you're crazy. It's hard. It doesn't make sense. Why are you doing this? Your friends make fun of you, right? And you keep doing it. But here's the thing. Those who win, they go again. It's an 8. The 7, it's a 6, and it gets eventually down to a 0. But here's the beautiful piece that no one keeps an eye on. At 0, Craig, it's not painless. It's not like you're doing it without pain. Here's what happens. That 0 turns into joy. I love it. I'm having fun with this. This is amazing. Like this thing I hated doing that I was horrible at, I did the work. I love doing it, man. Put me on a stage again. I'm going to be a comedian. Think about comedians. All of them talk about they bombed on stage. But the ones who were great kept getting up, and now they can't wait to get on the stage. They feel weird if they don't go on a stage after a while and do stand-up, you know? So the idea is the same thing for a marriage. If, like, you know, like I can't figure out how to make this thing work. Yeah, you can hop out and always have the pain of regret and not be in a great relationship. Or imagine waking up to that person that you love and you can't wait to see him when you get home. Like, it's the same thing for all aspects of life, but that's the hardest part of it is getting back in the ring and going from a 10 to a 9.8, a 9.5, a 9, an 8.8, you know what I mean? Like all the way down that rung and getting to joy. Those who succeed are the ones that go through that journey.
So what I see in this is that the people that overcome, the people that conquer, and the people that find true joy embrace fear. And they overcome fear, right?
Yeah.
And they seek out fear. And they look in their sandbox, so to speak, and go, okay, I'm scared of this. I'm going to tackle that. I'm scared of this, and then they figure that out, and then they go over here and go, okay, I'm scared of this too. I'm fearful. I'm not very good at it, and they take that on as a mission. So here's the issue with our culture today. It starts especially with young boys when they're about 7 years old. Oh, you're naturally gifted. Yeah. Oh, you got a great voice. Oh, you can run fast, and all of a sudden that becomes your identity, and that becomes what you gravitate towards. And then your spirit and your heart and your passion may be about something else. And let's say it's you want to be a sprinter and you're in some race and you finish last. 99 out of 100 kids are going to quit running and find a new sport. And guess who's going to encourage them to find a new sport? Their parents. Because their parents don't want to see them fail. Yeah. They think it hurts too much, so you don't want your son or daughter hurting. You don't want them being embarrassed. So you want, I think as parents, one of our goals and one of our objectives is to allow our kids to reveal the gifts that God gave them so that you can kind of guide them in the direction of their gifts. Yeah. Well, what you're talking about is a little bit different because what if what their passion is not the same as their gift? No, it's right? Different at times. And to be honest, different. The thing is, I mean, I think you can't rob the kids of the hardship. There's something that comes with the joy of actually overcoming that. I find this, for example, when I want my kids to be great at something, I don't try to make them do it. I try to have them invest in the actions it takes to overcome a hardship. They fall in love with it because we are investment-based humans. Like we have a bias there. We get in relationships and won't leave them because we've been in them for too long, kind of thing. So like my kids, like they want to play sports 100%. We're going to have you do something, but I'm not worried about them. Actually, it's weird. I don't care about their times or what they do. I just want to make sure they go to practice each day, that they work hard in the weight room, and they work hard at practice, because that inherently becomes something where it's like, I'm going to have fun at the competition. I celebrate them. It's cool. We have fun it's all fun and enjoyable, but it becomes part of who they are now to be successful, because nobody wants to invest all that time in practice to come out here and suck. That's it. But if it's all tied to the outcome,
then it's like if I didn't win, it sucks. I did bad. I'm not good. This is horrible. And now I have a negative emotional attachment to it. But when I get them to practice, they do the consistent, like you're talking about, I put them through that. Like I don't rob them of the hardships. They do the hard work. They come through. They get that sense of like, man, I've invested. I am a track athlete. I am a swimmer. I am a football player. Not because they won or lost the game, because they showed up every day.
And they get the mindset of, I can do anything.
Exactly.
I don't have to do it great the first time. I don't have to win the gold medal the first time. I don't have to even make the team the first time. How many kids show up for freshman sports in high school and don't make the team, and they never to be seen again?
Ever. Yeah, they're done. Yep.
Right? But what if they have the passion for it and they work on it? They might end up being the best player in the school in that sport.
That's how I was. I was horrible, man. My first 2 years of football, I was trash.
Dude, you were trash in college.
You know what I'm saying? I was trash.
You played for the Ducks. You
guys were right? Trash. Horrible. Nobody. Me and my billboards. What a loser. No, seriously though. But I was the guy that people made fun of my freshman year, and I went and I tried to get better between freshman and sophomore year. People made fun of me. My teammates like, why are you going to the gym all the time? Dude, listen to this. When I came home from the NFL, opened a gym, someone from I used to play with came into the gym, and they were making fun of me. Here was what they started saying. They said, oh, man, I remember Trucks. Man, you were the guy, like, everybody's going to parties. You're like, no, I'm going to go work out, you nerd. And I look at him, and I go, do you realize you're standing in my gym that I built from those times that you're making fun of?
Oh, my God. That's the irony of life right there.
Oh, crazy. But that's the thing, man. But in doing so, I put that time in, dude, and I went from being the guy that was kind of sucky, and that's he knew me to be that. So I don't know why he did, to being this monster, getting a scholarship and balling out and going to Oregon, the best college in the country,
Go Ducks. Well,
Go Ducks.
Here's the thing I think that's really critical in this conversation is the fact that if you're out there and you're listening and you have a dream and you have a passion and you want to be good at something and you're not, don't quit.
No, don't quit.
Don't give up. Practice, get reps, get coaching. If you're young, still go out for teams. I mean, you don't have to be on the most competitive soccer team in the city when you're 12 to end up playing in the Olympics.
Nope. Got to give it, man. I think it's a part that people don't realize is the most successful people I know. This I tell people all the time. You cannot fall in love with the destination. You got to fall in love with the day. I'm like, fall in love with the day, not the destination. Whatever that day looks like, it may be hard things, maybe easy things, but fall in love with the day, because if you love the day, you'll do that every day. If you're only in love with the destination, there'll be days that you just don't do the things that'll get you there. And a lot of people falter and struggle. And even if the journey, to get there is what it is, like if it's not something you enjoy, even if you get to the destination, you'll be unhappy. Like if I am taking a trip to your house in Colorado from California, if my flight's delayed or the taxi's late or there's turbulence or whatever it is, even if I show up and I had this horrible trip and I was late and all these crazy things happen, if I get to your house and everything's laid out, I'm not going to immediately be in a good mood. I'm going to be like, man, Craig, yeah, I'm here, but this all sucked and this, they didn't do this. I'm going to be on a kind of a crappy mood. But if I enjoy the journey, no matter what takes place, even if I just find ways to enjoy it all, if I get to your house and it's dirty, I'm like, hey, it's cool. It's whatever. Let's hang out some more while they get all figured out. Or, hey, I don't have a bed for you. No worries. I'll sleep on the couch. I'm in a good mood. And people don't realize they end up at their destinations they chose to get in life, hating the journey, and they get there and you're not in a good mood for it. So it sucks. But if you find ways to love the day, you can get better. You'll find opportunity. You'll learn new lessons. You'll get stuff. So whatever destination you get to, no matter what it is, you'll be in joy. And then the more you enjoy in life, man, the more you enjoy life.
Amen. Well, if you look at pro athletes, yes, there's no question that a few of the guys are so bloody gifted that they don't even have to embrace the grind. All they got to do is show up sober and they're going to be good.
True.
But 90% of the guys, and the guys that play 10 years or more, are not those guys. They're the guys that have embraced the grind of the day. They love the smell of a stinky locker room. They like being yelled at by coaches. They like playing in the snow. They like playing in the Florida heat in August. Whatever life brings them in their sport, They overcome injuries. They don't mind going to the training room. They don't mind doing the recovery. All the whole thing, not just spiking the ball after scoring a touchdown. They like the whole thing, all of it. They like warming up before the game. They like the bus ride to the airport on an away game. They find a way to enjoy every piece of it.
Yep, I agree.
Where most people just want to enjoy the time when you're on stage.
Yeah.
When you're on the field, on the court, in the boardroom, making a presentation, on stage making a speech, or dancing, or whatever it might be, right?
Yeah. And it's
it's only 1% of what you do.
Exactly. Yeah. My son and I, we go fishing right now, and he's we haven't caught a fish. We've been like probably 11, 12 times, haven't caught a fish. And a buddy of mine, like I put in language I can make sense of. He's like, it's called fishing, not catching. I was like, you're right. I tell my son, I'm like, dude, the idea to be out here, it's not to only have joy when you catch the fish. I said, how long does it take for you to catch the fish, reel it in? Because he every time we go, he doesn't catch a fish. He goes storming off, and like he's like up like 20 yards ahead of me, and I'm just carrying all the gear. I get in the car, I'm like, dude, are you serious? Wouldn't catch a fish. I'm like, so what? You're gonna be unhappy every time? I was like, how long do you think it takes for you to get a bite to reel it in? I don't know. I said, yes. He goes, oh, maybe a minute. Let's elongate. Let's say it's 2 minutes. Okay, cool. Then what happens? You take a picture? Yeah. How long does that take? I don't know, 30 seconds. Okay. Then what do we do? Oh, you put it in the box. Okay. How long would that be? Let's high shoot. Let's say it's going to be 5 minutes. How long were we out here today? 2 hours. So you're going to tell me that you're going to waste the entire rest of the, hour and 50 minutes because you didn't have 5 minutes of joy? Well, like you got a whole thing. And I'm like, look, you have to find a way to enjoy being here. Breathe it in. You have peace. You have freedom. You got a dad that's taking you here. You could play with the water, throw rocks. You can look at the birds. Like, find a way to enjoy it, because then it becomes more enjoyable. But you're 100%, Craig. Like, if you don't get to the point of embracing the suck and actually like loving the discomfort, dude, you'll never get there. You know the statement of get comfortable being uncomfortable. You heard that before?
Oh, many times.
And I started like selling with that because I didn't like it. I'm like, why don't I like how this sounds? And I started thinking through how people use it. And I was like, the way people use it, they go like, get comfortable being uncomfortable. I first heard Coach Tomlin say it when I was with the Steelers. First time I ever heard it. And I didn't really grasp kind of till years later what I think it really should mean. And I think when people first hear it, they go, oh, be okay with discomfort. Like, be okay with it. Like, yeah, I can handle it. I can endure it. And I started thinking, what does it really mean? When I look at the people who are successful who use it, what does that really look like? And I think of comfort like winter, let's call it the fire's on. I got hot chocolate. The whole family's here. I'm in my cozy clothes. We're watching a movie, like palpable. Like I can taste and touch and feel and smell that level of comfort of just settled. My soul is at peace. That is when I think of discomfort in my life. Like I love discomfort to that level. It sounds weird, but like I enjoy problems. I like puzzle solving because I know I'm not going to die. I know it's going to be figured out, but it's something where like I have a weird kind of enjoyment. It's like masochistic. I love the pain of hardship because it lets me know I'm alive and it lets me know what I got in me. And so like when I look at the whole idea of being comfortable, being uncomfortable, my success and all people, I'm sure yourself included, when you look at what you've accomplished, because you almost enjoy probably leading into difficulty where most people run. And it's not because you endure it, but you actually enjoy it. And when you're at that level, it's inevitable to have success.
100% agree with you. And I would say that most CEOs, most head football coaches, most leaders lean into adversity, issues, problem solving, and they figure out a way to calm the storm. Mm-hmm. They figure out a way to see the peace in the chaos.
Yeah.
Where the majority of people see the chaos and they run. They see the drama and they take a U-turn. And if you look at any political leader, any business leader, any sports leader, doesn't matter the arena you're in, the people that are at the top have the greatest capacity to problem solve.
Yeah, true.
Because there's a lot of dang good football coaches that can do the X's and O's, but they can't deal with the personal problems and the drama of the locker room.
Yeah, then it becomes a weight. I think there's there's also this statement, like, and I grew up, my backstory of foster care, and I think there's this statement I've always loved, and I should get this tattooed one time. I don't know if I'm going to do it, but I love the statement of a smooth sea makes not a skilled sailor. And for me, when I look at what I'm trying to find ways to be in positions to where I learn to navigate the rough seas. Because if I can do that, then I won't be scared to go out into the ocean like most people. Like most people are deathly afraid of doing it. So they don't go into the ocean. They don't go do new things because they're like, man, I don't know if I'm going to make it to the storms. And so even if they're presented with storms, they have no skill sets to navigate them because it can't be all by choice. Sometimes the storms come to your life without you wanting them to, right? It just happens. And when I look at people who lean into it, it's pretty much like those are the people who, when the storm is going, the boat's rocking back and forth, everybody's under the deck huddling up, hoping to hold on. That guy, like me and you, we're on the top of the deck sipping tea, yelling at the storm. Like, come get me. It's a whole different mentality because I'm like, I've been out here before. Like, I know what the storm's like. I can handle this. You're freaking out. You're shutting down. I'm riding this, man. Give me more. And sure enough, like, I'm going to get back in the boat more often. I'm going to go out in the ship. I'm going to go see the amazing lands that are out here because I'm willing to do it, whereas most people aren't.
Well, I'll take a page out of the NFL. When the TV cameras are panning the sidelines and there's a tight game and it's coming down to the last 2 minutes, and you get two types of looks from the quarterbacks. Either, hey, go ahead and score because I'm going to bring my boys all the way down the field and punctuate a victory.
Yeah.
And you got the other guys that you can just tell they're stressed out. They're hoping the defense can stop the other team. They don't want to go on the field. They're hoping they can't find their helmet if they get the ball back.
Yeah.
Where guys like Tom Brady, he's like he just goes, hey, he's so good with the ball in his hands the last 2 minutes that other teams are trying to do things to make sure that there's no time left on the clock because they know that if he gets the ball, they might lose.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think as an athlete, as a business person, as anybody, whether it's relationships with your significant other, your kids, I think it takes experience to learn that the true love and joy in relationships comes from overcoming fractures, misunderstandings, all those types of things. And so, candidly, what we really should do is have a list of all the problems we have, all the relationship problems we have, all the financial issues we have, and go, okay, we're going to tackle a couple of those every day until I figure that out, overcome it, and then I'm going to go to the next one. And then when a new problem pops up, you just add it to your list.
Yeah, I 100% agree, man. It's all part of the same humanity and the perspective. I love it. It's really, very well said. Agree.
What would you like to share with the audience about your identity shift that we haven't talked about?
Craig, man, we talked about so much. It's hard to know what we haven't talked about. We've always had conversations.
I know we're not keeping track.
No, but I mean, it's all part of it.
Okay, so let me throw one at you.
Yeah,
okay.
Throw it at me.
So Anthony, you've got your 3 children, 2 boys and a daughter, and you got your daughter sandwiched in between. What are their ages at the moment?
It's not really a sandwich, I guess, like an hour, but I have an older son who's 16, and I got twins who are 11. The youngest,
twins.
I
forgot they were twins.
Yeah, right. Well, they don't
but
look
they're not the same age. One came out first.
One came out an hour and 1 minute earlier. We were 30 minutes away from having them be born on different days.
Oh, wow.
One was at 12:30, one was at 1:31.
Never thought about that, but sometimes twins are not born on the same day. That's really interesting.
Yeah. It would have been very weird.
They get to have their own birthday, even though they were twins. So as a dad, what have you learned in 2020 that you didn't know before that is a very effective approach to being a great dad to your kids?
Great. It's a great question. What have I learned in 2020 that's a good approach I didn't know before? Matt, I think I would go with the realm of communication. And like being able to talk, right? Because I think the one thing as parents we get to, as my phone wants to make noises at me to do things. That's beautiful. No, I think the thing that I've learned in my realm as we'll call it a parent in this 2020 situation. I know for sure that for me communication has been a big one, and obviously how to talk to your kids, But it has been very interesting to be around them for so much time, right? Usually go to school, and even the summertime, it's not the same. There's activity in sports. But whenever you get to be around somebody long enough, you get to learn way more about how they think, how they process. And they do the same for you, but you're going to be put in a lot more conversations that they can help you rise or sink. It's not the sink or swim. I think it's rise, because if you do it wrong, you can sink. And I think relationship could be damaged. I know a lot of people in these whole quarantine times, man, they got divorced, relationships went crazy because they were around people far more often, and it turned into people, disliking each other more than they should. Whereas for me, I learned, I wanted to get closer to the kids. I wanted to know more about them as humans. And so in doing so, when you're around them so much, I learned how to talk to them I don't want to say little adults, but as actual humans, not as my subordinates, but actual humans. What do you like? Why do you like doing that? That doesn't make any sense. Torian, why are you always in your underwear? Why do you have to have weird robes? Why do you steal soft blankets? Tatum, why do you have to try every weird stuff and do stuff with your nails? And you got to dress cute now because you're 11 and you watch Disney movies. My son, why are you watching anime? When did you become an anime fan? All these weird dynamics. And I realized at the end of the day, as much as we say it, they are quite literally 100% different human beings. They are not my kids. They're different people that I guess came from me. It's weird, but they're going to go into this world and be odd, different humans. And I think for me as a parent, being able to embrace that journey puts me in a side where I get to experience them fully, as opposed to try to figure out what's going on and demean and demote and make them feel bad. But I get to be around cool people. I think the best and the worst part of this world are human beings, unfortunately. And if you want to be, in position with great ones, get to know them, to be in a good place with them, to have a good heart. And I think that is what, for me, will lead to later on, them wanting to come home for the holidays. I think I've even talked to you about that. I just want the kid to want to come home, man. I don't know what they're going to be doing or how they're going to do it, but I want them to have this feeling when they attach themselves to the holidays and be able to come spend time with mom and dad. Emotionally, I want them to go, oh, I want to get home. I love being with my parents. And that comes from getting to know them as people, them feeling accepted, and the attachment emotionally being there.
Well, Anthony, I'm going to answer that question too. I think
Please.
One of the things that happens when you have kids, especially when the first 4 or 5 years, is they put you up on a pedestal and they see you as God. And then they realize there's a God. And then from that, maybe 6 years old to maybe 11 or 12 years old, they put you up on a pedestal because they know you're smart.
Yeah.
And then when they hit about 13, 14, somewhere in there, then they think they're smarter than you.
Yeah, right.
And then and they think they're a genius by the time they go off to college. And then they start slowly but surely realizing that mom and dad weren't that stupid. Okay?
Yeah.
And during that whole process, talking about identity, I think our children go through an identity evolution and an identity crisis when they start wondering, what would dad do? What did dad do?
Mm-hmm.
And I know I should do X, but did dad do X? And so I think being vulnerable, communicating vulnerability, and communicating your mistakes. I'm not talking about when they're 5, but when they're probably 16 or older, I think it's critically important to communicate your failures. Communicate the adversity that you dealt with, your most embarrassing moments, some of those types of things, to show them that you're human and that you failed and that you survived.
Yeah.
Because I think especially boys, they want to know, I don't know if I can do this. I wonder if dad did, but he obviously did. No, I didn't. I didn't do it either. Okay, I screwed up too. And I think it's not that misery loves company. It's more of the reality of, hey, humanity. My dad is human. He's not perfect. And I think that's in 2020 is what has been an improvement in my relationship with my kids, is that despite my failures, despite my temper, my, all the stupid things guys do that I do too, they now are looking past that because in some ways I've confessed it.
Yeah.
And I've apologized for it. Because over a period of time, you do hurt your kids without even trying.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And you can even hurt your kids on vacation. You're planning on having fun and, hey, you only have time for 2 of the 3 to do something. And the third one's, butthurt because he or she didn't get to do what the other 2 did. And they're angry at you, but you had to turn the jet ski back in. Okay, it was time.
Yeah.
And so it's just the idea of letting them know that you're real too.
Yeah, it makes sense. I like it. The humanity, right? Because they can actually see it. I just think as you're talking about that, I'm like thinking in my head. I tell my kids a lot. I'm dope. I'm your dad. I'm dope. You know how dope I am. Most of the time they poke fun at me because I'm just dad. But I realize at the same time, if they don't realize it, like I say that like viciously, I do have a lot of headaches. They may go in later. I thought, oh man, I can't bring this to dad because he's got it all put together. I highly doubt that they think that because I do communicate a lot of what goes on. We do this thing every day called good day, bad day. So we're always in constant communication about how things aren't great. But I like that perspective. That's actually one I can adopt for sure in my own life.
Well, Anthony, I want to thank you for joining me today on Pro Mindset. I just truly respect you as a man and as a husband and as a father and everything you're about and the opportunities that you're getting to speak to companies and to coach people is a testament that you've made that identity shift from being a foster kid that wasn't supposed to be anybody to a guy that got a college scholarship to play football, went to the NFL, and has had greater success post-NFL than you had in the NFL. Appreciate
it, man. Thank you. I'm honestly honored to know you too, man. There's a lot of weird journeys that we've gone through together. And I'm honestly, there's times when I don't even think you would call. Like I talk about you probably way more than you even know I talk about you in positive ways. So feelings mutual.
Hey, as long as it's positive, it's okay. If you're going to start talking bad, talk noise out.
Oh no,
just cut that shit out.
I don't know if you remember this. I don't know if you remember this, but there was you probably did when I got the call for the Steelers. Like I was getting worked. I just did a workout on a Tuesday, and they were calling me, and you were calling me. I don't know what's going on, but you called me, and like I just did this crazy workout. I want to fly me in. And I was telling you, like, Craig, man, I just did this crazy workout. My body shot, and you stopped me in the middle and said, "Do you want an effing job?" Like you said, I was like, "Oh, yeah, I do." And that was like, I got on the plane, I flew out there, got signed. But like, remember that moment? Like, I was like, "Ooh," because it was the first time me and you had really interacted. I was always talking to Drew, but like somehow you got brought into the mix of it. It was like the first time, and I was like, "Oh, dang!" Like, all right, let's do this. And it was like that little statement of like, you better get your mind right that drove.
Well, here's the thing that I'll tell you that happens to all of us, and we're so good at it, which is I'm not ready. I'm not ready to do a podcast. I'm not ready to give a speech. I'm not ready to do a workout. I have a built-in excuse because I just ran 3 miles today and lifted all these weights or whatever it might have been, and I got to fly cross country.
Mm-hmm.
And it's going to be a red eye and jet lag and all these things. And so what happens is our mind immediately goes to all the reasons why you might not be successful.
Yeah, I agree.
And I think sometimes you just got to go do it. It's just the Nike. You're from, you went to school up there in Eugene, and it's like, what do they do? In Nike headquarters, they talk about just do it.
Just do it. Yep.
You just got to go do it.
I agree. 100%.
So on that note, you go do it. You go fishing. You pack your bags, you get your butt on your vacation, you have fun in Florida, and I thank you very much for being on, and we'll talk soon.
All right, man. Love you, brother.
All right, see you, buddy. Bye-bye now.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Pro Mindset. If you enjoyed this podcast, please subscribe, rate, and review this podcast. You can follow us on our website, promindsetpodcast.com, or on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at Pro Mindset Podcast. Thank you so much for listening. We'll see you the next time.